Okay, let's talk about something big. Imagine building real, lasting wealth that isn't tied to the fate of just one country. That's what we're going to dive into today, a really powerful strategy to transform your financial life from something local to something truly global.
So, let me just ask you this straight up. Are your finances trapped by your borders? I mean, is your entire financial future chained to the economy, the politics, and the currency of just one single nation? If the answer is yes, well, you might be living inside what you could call a financial cage.
In the bars on this cage, they're all too real. You've got local inflation just eating away at your savings. You have political and economic risks that can literally change your fortunes overnight. And then there's currency devaluation, making your hard-earned money worth less and less. Now, this is the reality for most people, but you know what? It doesn't have to be yours.
So what's the escape plan? Well, it all starts with a huge shift in how you think. It's all about adopting the global citizen mindset. It's about mentally and then financially just removing those borders. So what even is a global citizen investor? Well, put simply, it's someone who builds their wealth without being tethered to any one place. It's all about achieving real freedom and true diversification by spreading your risk not just across different assets, but across the entire globe.
And believe me, that freedom is incredibly powerful. This approach has actually been called one of the greatest freedoms that modern finance offers. So this isn't just a strategy, it's a kind of liberation from the limits of your local economy.
Okay, so theory is great, but how do we actually make this happen? Well, we need the right tools. I want you to think of this next part as getting your very own financial passport, the thing that gives you access to the entire world of investing.
And building this infrastructure, it's actually a pretty clear two-step process. First, we're going to create a borderless financial hub to manage your money. And second, we'll choose a global platform to access the world's markets. Let's break down exactly what that means.
So your borderless hub is like your financial command center. For your everyday stuff, multi-currency accounts like Wise or Revolut are just perfect for holding money in dollars, euros, you name it. Now, if you're working with a bit more capital, say over $50,000, you might want to look into offshore banking in a really stable, secure country. We often call these safe havens, and they give you an extra layer of protection.
Now for step 2, accessing the markets. Your local broker, well, it's kind of like a library with books from only one author. A global platform, on the other hand, is the entire world's library. It gives you access to over 150 markets all across the US, Europe, and Asia. The difference in opportunity is just immense.
Let's just take a quick look at a platform that many consider the gold standard for this: Interactive Brokers. Compared to your typical local broker, the advantages are just huge. You get access to those 150-plus markets, and the commissions are way lower because of tiered pricing, which means you pay a tiny percentage instead of some high flat fee. Plus, you get the absolute game-changing feature of fractional shares, which, don't worry, we'll talk more about in just a moment. Okay, so you've got your passport and you've got access. Now, where do you go? Well, you need a map, right? And that's exactly where the All-World Portfolio comes in. This is your strategic guide to global diversification. So what does this map, this balanced global portfolio, actually look like? Well, here's a pretty solid model. The biggest slice, 60%, goes to global stocks for growth. Then you've got 25% in bonds for stability, 10% in gold as a kind of insurance policy, and finally, a small, totally optional 5% slice in digital assets for some high-risk but high-potential exposure. You see, each of these assets has a very specific job to do. Think of your global stocks as the accelerator. That's your main engine for growth. The bonds? They're your braking system, giving you stability when the markets get a little bumpy. Gold is your insurance policy against any major crises. And digital assets like Bitcoin? Well, they're a high-risk bet on future technology. Okay, I know what some of you might be thinking right now. This sounds amazing, but I don't have thousands of dollars just lying around. Well, guess what? This next section is for you. We are about to demolish the myth that global investing is only for the wealthy. That's right, $50. In the past, you needed a huge pile of cash just to get your foot in the door. Today, thanks to modern financial tools, you can open the door to global markets with as little as $50. And the magic that makes this possible is called fractional shares. It means you don't have to buy one full, expensive share anymore. Instead, you can buy just a small piece. You invest by dollar amount, not by the number of shares, so you can easily buy a $10 slice of a $500 stock. This is a complete and total game changer for new investors. But here's the thing.
As a small investor, you have one major enemy that you really need to defeat. What do you think it is? A market crash? Picking a bad stock? Nope. It's something much, much more subtle.
It's high, fixed commissions. Think about it. If you invest $50 and you have to pay a $5 fee, you have lost 10% before you have even started. It's a guaranteed loss. This is why those global platforms with tiered pricing are so important. They just charge a tiny percentage, often less than $1, which makes these small investments actually work.
All right, here's another pro tip to really maximize your growth. When you're picking an ETF, look for one that has AC in its name. That stands for accumulating. Instead of paying you out dividends that get taxed and that you have to manually reinvest, it does all of that for you automatically. This unleashes the full power of compounding and just keeps things super simple and tax efficient.
So what does this all look like in practice? Here is a dead simple, actionable plan for your first $100 a month. You put $60 into your global equities growth engine, $20 into gold for safety, $10 into bonds for stability, and maybe $10 into crypto as that high potential option. It's simple, it's diversified, and it's really powerful. Okay, before we wrap up, let's lock in the golden rules. First, adopt a buy and hold philosophy for the long term. Second, avoid friction. That means minimizing commissions and taxes. Third, automate your investments. Investing the same amount each month is called dollar cost averaging, and it just takes all the emotion out of it. And finally, apply flag theory, the idea that you should plant flags around the world, diversifying not just your assets, but the countries your wealth is connected to.
I want to leave you with this final thought. For the price of a single cup of coffee, you can become a partner in the world's largest companies. We're talking Apple, Nestle, Toyota, you name it. That is the incredible power that you have in your hands today. The only question left is, are you going to use it?